I've been working 50-hour weeks on top of studying, on top of the gym, and planning to move states. And on top of that, I spent 2 hours trying to film this episode today. And I squeezed it into a very short time slot of 30 minutes to film this episode. And at the start of my clip, my file gets corrupt. And because I'm using my phone's back camera, I can't see that it's corrupt. So I filmed the whole thing without me even knowing. Oh, wow. Wow, not a bit of me wants to film this episode right now. It's 1 a.m. Life's been hectic for me. It has been. I've been really pushing myself, which is really interesting to see in contrast to, I guess, what was going on in my life before. I was feeling extremely lazy and unmotivated. I wasn't getting anything done, to be quite frank with y'all. But you're not lazy. I'm not lazy. You're just misaligned. And that's what this episode's about, right? Welcome to episode 2 of Going Rogue with Chilo. Last week we talked about cognitive dissonance. This week we're talking about laziness. Perceived laziness, right? You're not really lazy, you're just misaligned. You need to dial in sharper. Now, how do you do that? Let's dive into that. So over the past couple of weeks, I've had a phase where I was just like really lazy and whatnot, and then I just all of a sudden dialed in. And I always have this period where I kind of just dial in for a period of time, like maybe a couple of weeks, and then I fall out of it, and then I dial in again. So I was reflecting on that, and I was really thinking, I was like, what makes me dial in? What helps me really dial in? What's this dial in? How can I guess, explain it? Verbalize what's going on and how to do it. I realize I follow the same routine every time. I do. And I want to give you guys the secret recipe to that. Secret recipe. So if you need to, save this video to watch later. And this video is not for just those that have high goals. Okay? This applies, like high in terms of, I want to be extremely wealthy. I want to be in the gym all the time. Like, yeah, that's who this video is for, but it's also for those that just want to better their life. I will be talking a lot in reference to, I guess, high performance individuals in that domain, but please take this as just as a representative of, I guess, associated with your things, your goals, what that will look like for you. Even if you just want to live a chill, peaceful life where you're not doing too much, you're not working too hard. I lied. You're always going to have to work hard. If you want what you want, you're going to have to work hard for it. But that working hard may look different, right? It will look different from person to person. Because I understand a lot of people don't have my goals, but the methods to achieve them and get the actions done remain the same. So without further ado, second episode, Going Rogue with Chilo. You're not lazy, you're misaligned. Last episode we talked about cognitive dissonance and I guess our actions not being in line with what's going on in our head. This episode is going to be kind of a little bit similar. It's going to be about misalignment. You're not lazy, you're just misaligned. Now, quick story time. It is currently 12:32 a.m. I tried filming this episode twice earlier today, and whilst recording, my file got corrupted. And I didn't know because it was at the very start. So now we got my iPad displaying what's going on. My phone's on 5%. I'm just coming from the gym. There's not a single bone in me that wants to film this episode right now. And so I figured that was a good talking point, I guess. I actually wasn't going to film it. I was with my friend and he's like, no, you're going to film this. Tonight you're going to edit it, then you're going to go and get some rest. Because my sleep is cooked. I wake up bare early. Anyways, I want to talk about being lazy and being misaligned. such a coincidence that all of this happened. It's actually genuinely frustrated me and it's ruined my day, but I'm still getting it done. This episode is going to come out on a Monday, not a Sunday like I planned to. I didn't want this lighting to occur. I wanted daytime lighting because I wasn't a fan of last episode's lighting. In another parking lot, a bit of a different parking lot. Hopefully no interesting things happen like last time. But so being misaligned, right? I want to talk about it. Why don't you chase your goals? Yes, you have them, right? You have them, they're there. I think we all have them and we're there. But the truth is, they're just dreams. They're just dreams for you. They're cute little dreams that you haven't taken action on. And there's been this thing where I've heard it. It was work so hard you make failure impossible, right? I think it was a YouTuber known as Brandon Carter, right? Work so hard you make failure impossible. But, and I agree, but I don't think that's the first step, right? I think it's about channeling your energy very specifically. So there's a couple of things I want to talk about here. In the Christian religion, right? I love this. I love the idea of setting that goal first, right? Setting that dream. I think the first step is having a dream. Setting that dream, knowing where exactly, being able to picture it. And that's the beauty of having dream boards, I think it's called. Dream boards. I'm not saying create a dream board. I don't have a dream board. I've tried it. It's not for me. It takes too much time, really. But think of yourself. You need to think of yourself in 10, 20 years. What would perfect you be doing, right? And so I've thought about. So think of it from start off shallow, right? Sorry, I keep looking at this camera because I'm not used to having like this, and it's so handy. Like, as you can see, my phone is on 5%. I'm really just I'm just trying my best, y'all. I'm just trying my best. But so yeah, you need to have a goal. Have a goal of where exactly you want to be and what it looks like. Start off shallow. I want to be wealthy. Why do you want to be wealthy? So I can grow a nice family, right? And not have money restrict them. Okay, why do you not want money restrict them? Because money restricted me and it would make me feel happy to bless other people that wasn't able to be put in a nice situation. That's not my situation. That's just an example, right? And so think about it for yourself. Think about it for yourself. And I want you to keep asking why until you start thinking. Okay? The point of this goal isn't for you to obtain it. Okay? Going back to what I was saying about the Christianity and religion thing, you have a perfect person, Jesus. And the goal is to become like Jesus. Now, will you ever become Jesus? No. No. You won't ever become Jesus unless you're Mormon and you believe that you will. Anyways, you won't ever become Jesus. But the point is to give you direction. If you don't have a goal that is out of reach, you cannot have direction. Okay? And you have to remember that in the process, taking a step by step, right? Because so think of Jesus as a metaphor for your ideal self over a certain period of time, whether that's 1 year, 5 years, or 10 years, right? Will you be going to the gym? Will you be eating healthy? Will you be meditating? Will you have enough time to play with your kids? Okay? And so now today's actions are going to be dictated by that goal. Okay? Today's actions are going to be dictated by that goal. And you have to take it one step at a time. That's it. That's it. And so That is the first step to aligning yourself. That is your first step. And there's multiple steps. But I think having that goal, having that dream is a must. Must. Not for you to ever obtain, but just so you know which direction your steps are and what it looks like going forward. Over time, as you get halfway or a quarter through your journey, right, you're going to begin to realize that your goal changes. And that is okay. You change in accordance to that. I wanted to go pro in basketball. I did. A couple years ago. This was 3 years ago. And I worked my ass off. I worked like there was no tomorrow. And as I was seeing a little bit of progress, I was diagnosed with arthritis. I had joint problems. Isn't that just the best thing for a basketball player to do? And so prior to that, I had goals, I had dreams, and I had a perfect me pictured and where I wanted to go. But all of a sudden, that completely changed when I was diagnosed with this medical problem, right? And so what happened was, because I already had a direction, I already had a goal, and I already had a why, all I needed to do was not foster a new reality, but just shift my existing reality. I want to become an entrepreneur, I want to be successful in business, and I want to pretty much entrepreneur successful in business on a shallow level, okay? It goes a lot deeper than that. I could explain the whys. And so I just shifted what the goals I already had. I looked at the why behind why I wanted to be professional at basketball, and I just because I want to do what I'm passionate about. And so for me, it became about a lot to do with me having the freedom to enjoy, love music and art and experience it. Not just art in its literal physical sense, but art as in going able to see landscapes, okay? Being able to travel. Not only that, but I see my life as as a piece of art that I'm building on top of, right? We have a base, I don't know much about painting. I can't lie. But whatever steps there are, it's probably like what? A background that you have to paint first, I'd assume. Like something like a base layer, right? And then you have like that would be for drawing where you have sketches. I think for drawing you would have sketches. I don't know. But the point is, I build my life off of that idea of having, of art. I love art. And so, that allowed me to determine my steps after. And that was about 2 years ago now. 2 years, maybe 3. I've come across very many challenges where my actions aren't in line with the person I want to be or where I want to go. That's okay. The first step is recognizing that. And you need to narrow down, not necessarily work harder, but you need to align yourself. You need to my second point, you need to output more than you input. Okay? You should be doing 3 times more than what you consume. If you watch an hour of a YouTube video, you do 3 hours of whatever that YouTube video is telling you, right? But when referring to educational content. Because input is nice, but everyone can just watch YouTube videos. Everyone can spend all their time on TikTok. I know that you scroll through TikTok. You've told yourself, I'm not gonna scroll on it. You told yourself it's educational. You tell yourself you learn some stuff on there. You tell yourself so on and so forth, right? But even if you're not a high dreamer, even if you don't dream high, and that's okay. That is okay. But still dream for something, still have goals to obtain. You need it. And no matter what, 2 hours of TikTok, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours of TikTok isn't gonna help you. It won't. no matter how much you tell yourself, oh, it's educational, that's some cute excuses, if I might be real with you. I think you and I both know that. And so you need output, okay? On YouTube, YouTube is a great resource to learn new things, develop new skills. But for every hour of YouTube you watch, you put in 3 hours of actually practically doing that thing. Don't just make it all verbal. Don't just tell people, right? And brings me to my third point. That point was really quick. But the telling people, right? We're going to talk about 2 different types of chemicals, okay? These are both known as your happiness chemicals. You have your dopamine, which I'm sure many people have heard of. You have your serotonin, okay? I'm really liking this car park, but no disturbances. It's cool. But you have dopamine, you have serotonin. Dopamine is the one you've probably heard of. Serotonin is the one that you probably haven't. Without going too far into the chemical of how it works, serotonin is long-lasting happiness and peace. Dopamine's fast, right? Dopamine's the same after hitting a gym workout, that high that you feel. Hey, even taking chocolate. Chocolate's another one. Having lolly, sugar. Those are all dopamine sensors, right? So we'll talk about dopamine first. Dopamine you can use to your advantage. It is often talked down about, okay? Dopamine you can use. And so when it comes to dopamine's short lasting, but it's powerful, it's strong. It's that wake up at 4 a.m., you want to conquer everything. It's that I'm awake at 11 p.m. and all of a sudden I want to start doing push-ups in my bedroom. That sort of feeling, right? It's that. And so to maximize dopamine, I am a massive, massive, massive advocate for calendars. Yes, calendars. I have my calendar full, absolutely full, from the start of my day to the end of my day, of how my ideal perfect day looks like. And this links back to having a perfect ideal goal, right? A perfect ideal goal also has a perfect ideal day, okay? So I have a perfect ideal day, and I input that into my calendar. I've been doing this about for a year now, and I have seen drastic. I promise you, just do it. Create a calendar and have repeating whatnot. I use Fantastical. Fantastical is an amazing calendar. You link your Apple Calendar, you link your Google Calendar, all your calendars, you link it, and they all go into Fantastical. You color code them nicely. You have repeating events, all of that nonsense, right? And so to maximize dopamine here, you plan your day in advance, okay? That's through the calendar. Even your free time, even if you spend 4 hours having free time, you plan that 4 hours, okay? Plan it, that's the key. Because then once you finish your day and you look back, you feel proud of yourself because everything I got done on this calendar has been done. That's how you manipulate dopamine for your own advantage. Okay? You set tasks and you complete them. You don't do what you feel like doing. Because if so, I wouldn't be filming this video right now. Yes, it's going to go up a day late. But before I was thinking of just, I'll just skip this week. And maybe this video won't do great. Maybe it would do terrific. I don't know. But I've done it and I'm proud of myself for doing it. And that's the same mentality that you need to have when it comes to your goals. You're not lazy. You're not. You're just misaligned. Okay? So now that you have your calendar, you have your things that you want to get done, the things that you need to get done up on there. You won't follow them straight away. It's hard. It'll be exhausting, especially if you dream big. But I just want you to just do it. Okay? Tone it down a little bit so that way it's not extreme. But create something that you're pushing yourself and you end up doing it. And it takes 21 days to build a habit. So the first couple of days you feel a lot of dopamine. Okay, let's say the first 3 days you do it. Now the fourth day, your dopamine's gone down because dopamine's short lasting, right? Even after 2 days, 1 day even, it's going to be a lot harder for you to not do it, in the sense of you know that you've been able to do it and you know what you're capable of doing and you know how good you felt after that. Okay, now we're going to really just muster up a little bit of discipline. Okay, a little bit of discipline and just do it. And just do it. After 21 days, it'll start to become habitual and it'll be a lot easier. Okay, now how can we get to those 21 days? The 21 days of it just being a part of your life and who you are. Okay, is going to be by reducing the amount of friction between you and your goal. So we have our goal, right? We have our goal. And before our goal, we have the actions to achieve our goals. Now, before that, we have our desire, which is linked to our goal. Okay? Desire linked to our goal. And we have actions. What you're calling laziness is you don't have a bridge between your desire and the actions. Okay? It's not strong enough. So what we're going to do is we're going to reduce the amount of possible friction it takes for you to get these things done. Okay? And I'm sure many of you guys have heard of this before. But I want you guys to really think about it. Really genuinely think about it. Okay? When studying for exams, I need to be in a perfect study space. I need to have a drink, I need to have snacks, I need to have a clean area. The second I'm a little bit hungry, I can't study. So what I do is the night before, I need to study. Okay, let's say I need to study at even 11 a.m. the next day, 12 p.m. the next day, right? And I know I'm waking up at 5. But the night before, I'll make sure that the area where I'm going to study is completely clean. I'll have my laptop up, my iPad there. I'll have my food and water there. So there's no excuse for me to get up. I wake up, I go to the gym, I get what I need to get in the morning, I go out maybe even, I come back and everything's there perfectly set for me, okay? And studying is a metaphor for the task that you need to get done. The clean table, having food, having drink is a metaphor for the people and things that you surround yourself with. I would not have filmed this episode if it wasn't for my friend telling me that, oh, you need to get this done. You're getting this done. There's no way. If I chose friends that weren't encouraging me and forcing me to do these things, it would make it easier for me to quit, give up, and not film this episode. Okay? So I set myself up in advance by surrounding myself with those kind of people that are going to help me propel towards my goals, not restrict me, not restrain me. And you need to do the same too. Okay? Get your food, get your water, make sure your space is clean. Find the right friends, find friends with similar goals. Surround yourself with people that are in the situation that you would desire to be in. Right? Reduce the amount of friction that it takes you to get the task done. And there will be friction. My video got corrupt. That was a big point of friction. But if I didn't already have my microphone in the car, have my iPad here ready, okay? What else do I have? That's it. But if I didn't do those things, it would have been even more friction and I wouldn't have gotten it done. Because I would have said, oh, let me go home to get my microphone. By the time I'm home, I sat down for 2 seconds. Oh, I'm hungry. I need to get something to eat. Oh, it's too late. I should just get some sleep and film tomorrow. And tomorrow would have been the same thing. Reduce the amount of friction it takes. If you want to go to the gym, lay your gym clothes out first thing in the morning. Have your water, have your bag packed, ready to go. Just those two things, reducing friction and having a calendar, I'm telling you right now, you go far. And this is not just for high achievers. It's not. It applies for everyone. Whether you would call yourself a high achiever, it's for everyone that just wants to make their life better. It is. I want to talk about some medication that I'm currently on. As an example, I am on quite a bit of medication for different things, for both my physical health and my mental health. And I've always had a problem taking them. And this is why this episode actually came about. I didn't associate I knew I wanted to be better physically and mentally, but I knew that these medications will make me better physically and mentally, but I didn't have an association between the two. The hard truth is, you can't out-discipline something you're not excited for. You can't. You'll never be able to out-discipline something you're not excited for. Make yourself excited about it. Have your goals set. And wake up every morning and just be like, I'm just going to get a step closer to this goal. Gamify it, right? Make yourself think like, okay, this life is a game. How can I get as close to this as possible in this time frame? You fail, you set the next challenge for yourself. You challenge by challenge, right? And enjoy it. Enjoy it. It won't necessarily be fun, right? But push yourself. Find joy in getting better and doing these hard things. Because it's either you put yourself in these hard situations, you go out and find those hard situations, or you're reactive to them and the hard situations find you. Then what? Either way, it's hard situations, but you just pick which hard situations you want, right? So for me, with my medications, right? My medications that I wasn't taking before. I knew that they make me better, but I wasn't taking them, which had a mental toll on me. It stressed me out. It was a period of anxiety. It was just like a little lingering feeling of stress on top of everything else that was going on. And so I really sat down and I just thought about it. I really did think about it. I thought about why I want to get better. I came to the realization that these medications do really help and that they need to be taken. They do. And I thought, let me reduce the amount of friction. So I started getting my medications out. Because it's a lot. It's like 14 total, right? 14 tablets total. And so in the morning, I'll have them there and I'll take them with chocolate coconut water so I don't taste them as much. I'll put them there so first thing in the morning I wake up, I see them on my bench top. Okay, I reduce the amount of friction there. Then I also put it on my calendar because it wasn't on my calendar before. I just put it as a task because I can have events and then tasks. I'll put it as a task. So my day wasn't complete without me taking those medications. And if I wanted to complete my day and sleep at night, I would have to take those medications, right? And so that's an example of reducing the amount of friction and using the calendar to help. Okay? And so that will look different for different people, but none of those work if you don't have that goal of the perfect self, right? Perfection. So, to close up this episode, I want you guys to take note that you're not lazy, you're just misaligned, right? To wrap this up, right, to recap everything we've gone through, I want you to know that you're not lazy, you're just misaligned, right? The goal isn't to necessarily push harder, which comes after. Don't get me wrong. Work so hard you make failure impossible. Take that with you today. But the goal is to realign sharper. Not to push harder, but to realign sharper. And you will see your goals start to become reality. Your dreams start to become reality. Instead of asking, hey, what's wrong with me? Why am I not doing these things? Instead, ask yourself, what can I do to realign myself better? It's all about realignment. When you're not aligned, everything feels forced. Everything. And you have to change that. You have to. And it's a journey. I'm working on my realignment, getting sharper. For me, right now, that looks like still taking my medications, right? Taking my meds. I've kind of mastered it down when it comes to my business, my work, my gym, and things like that. I wouldn't even say mastered, but I've gotten it to a healthy, routine point. Because you can always, there's no mastery of this. You just get better. But yeah, that's this week's episode. You're not lazy, you're just misaligned. Check out my previous video if you haven't on cognitive dissonance. That may pop up there for you, or if not, click on my profile. Instagram, socials are down below. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I'll see you all next week for episode 3 on love, passion, and yearning.